Hi, this is an overview to the SharePoint Assets Repository. So we'll just talk about what that is and where to find it. You can find it on the Team SharePoint, team.csam.umn.edu/assets. What is this asset repository? It is used to hold assets that you'll need available online, but you're not going to put them on a web page. In other words, pictures that you might have to use in an email or that kind of thing. So the asset repository simply lets you upload those documents so they'll be available online, and it lets you search for them later if you then want to go back and use something you uploaded previously. There are a number of different search methods available in the asset repository. A simple search, a more advanced search where you actually differentiate between searching the content of a document, in other words, the words within a Word document or an Excel document, and searching the metadata or document properties, which are the data that are in the column values. So if you are familiar with SharePoint, you'll know what that is, and we'll look at it. Then there are a couple of new ways to do searches. One is called a key filter, which is going to be very useful, and a navigation hierarchy that kind of lets you sort through the folder levels and some of the major different ways of looking at the asset repository. And then there's the normal SharePoint views, which are really helpful in allowing you to look through and find the assets you're looking for. Okay, so let's take a look at it. This is the asset repository. You can see at the top it says assets. This is the home page. We'll see this simple search available here where you enter just keywords. This is not going to bring up many images because, of course, images don't have content, and this one searches the content of a document. You also will find the same search capability up here on every page. And there's an advanced search here that we'll look at later. You see this view, which is my newest assets. It shows me mine, the most recent assets I've changed, and when you log in, it'll show you yours. This view down here is going to show the everyone's most recent assets, and then at the bottom of the page is a tag cloud showing you the most commonly used keywords. On the left, you can see links to uploading your documents. Since that's going to be the most common thing you probably want to do when you come here, this is a quick and easy way to do that. This link here will bring you to some of the other search features and the asset library itself, so the way you can just kind of get right in there and look at it. Let's try uploading a document. So there's 4 different links here because there's 4 major groupings that the documents are grouped into. The different types of these documents, the different 4 types, each have different metadata associated with them. You'll hear that term more, and I will we'll look at what that is. So let's upload an image. This is probably the most common thing you're going to want to do. So I'm going to do a search here and see if I can find an image that I want to upload. Don't have too many images here. Here we go. There's an image. Then I want to uncheck this checkbox. If I don't uncheck this checkbox, it will try to overwrite a file of the same name, and I don't want it to do that. It could be someone else's document that accidentally has the same name, so you'll want to uncheck this. There's also a folder. Right now there's a default listed in here. The default is the 2012 folder. For performance reasons, we don't want assets stored in the root of the directory, so there'll always be a folder here, or you can choose your own folder that you want to put it in. And I haven't created one, so we'll just put it in the default one for now. And then I'm just going to click OK. go. Okay. So I'm going to fill out, really, this is the only required field. These enterprise keywords are going to be a required field as well. So I'm going to put in something here like Macintosh and working, something like that. So you can see some of that one is already in there. This one isn't, so this one will be new. And I'm going to put a name on here. I wanted to show you this as well. This is the content type. So you see it says image because I clicked on this one. If I had clicked on document, now you see that the fields change. That's because a document type document has different metadata associated with it. Each of these fields is what you would call metadata. Or it's also called document properties. You'll hear both of those terms. If I had selected audio, I would get yet another set of fields. If I had selected video, it would be slightly different. You can see with video you get a frame height and a frame width. So I want the image. Oh, I guess it got rid of my keywords, so I will put them in again. Alright, so I hit enter and it takes it as a keyword. It creates a new keyword and puts it in the system. The other item to take a look at is this. This is going to be the URL that you'll use for your asset if you're going to put it in an email or something. So copy it and then we'll have it available for use. And that's it. I'm going to save it. And it's going to take me back to the home page. So now let's go look in the asset repository and see if I can find that asset I just uploaded. And here it is, because these are all sorted in reverse order. You see it says screenshot. Here's the two keywords I put in, working and Macintosh. And it's got my name as the old modified. You can grab this and pull it up. Well, you can actually. You can grab this and pull it up. There you go. You can move it around on the page. You'll notice it also shows that public URL down here. It gets to be a little long. So the old modified date, the old modified by, and the values. All right, so let's move it down and I can close it. On the left, this is what's called the navigation hierarchy. If I open up these folders, I can look inside them. In fact, if I click on this 2012 one, which is going to have only assets uploaded since the new repository began, I'll also see mine in here. If I click on this one, which is old assets, which is not the new ones, you see that mine is not in there because it's in the new 2012 one. I can grab, you see how they're getting a little squished together? If I grab this and pull it down, now I have a little more room, and I can look at the different content types over here. Image, audio, video, folders. Let's click on folders. Okay, there's the folders, and I can also click here to open up any one of the folders. And because this folder has no folders in it, that's why nothing is showing up here, because folder is still selected. So if I click on content type, now I see all content types. So that is going to be, you know, something that might catch you once in a while. I know it catches me. But just keep in mind that when you use these, it impacts any other search you would also do. So let's do an example. Let's search on MBA. This is key filters, and this is going to be another way to let you search. this first one here, you'll see a long list of things that are possible matches, but I click on the first one and then it underlines it, so you know that it's gotten it. I can also put in modified by, or I can put in created by, or I can indicate on or before, on or after, or on a certain modified date, created date, and old modified date. So let's just press apply, and it should pull up only those assets that have MBA as a key filter, because that's what we put into the key filters. And that's what we're getting. Now, you notice I've got, let's just click on this to make sure we've got everything. Right, so there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 assets here. Now what happens if I were to click on old assets? That'll tell us if it's in the old assets. Yep, so they're all still there, so they're in the old assets. Let's click on 2012. Okay, the first one went away. There's only 6 here now instead of 7. And if I click on 2010, 2011, none of them are there. If I click on 2009, nothing. If I click on 2008, oh, there it is. Okay, so let's go back up to Asset Library, and I want to show you a different way to look at these assets. There's another view in here, which is called All Assets, and it shows us all the metadata, meaning all the columns. So there's a title associated with it. I can sort on the title A to Z, or backwards Z to A. Hang on, and there it goes. It's sorted. The up arrow means it's A to Z. Wait a second. Let's see what it does if I sort Z to A. There's a down arrow. That means descending. So we see the Z's at the top. We can see here's the enterprise keywords. So these are all the keywords that are available to search on. There's a picture size. There's a content type, extension. You'll be able to put your department in. There's an old group name. So let's search on this. Let's see if I pull this up. It shows me a long list of the assets groups that are associated with assets. So let's say I pick on lead. There's only one. Now let's see if I can find another one. Okay, I'm going to pick alumni. There's a lot of them for alumni. So that's a really handy way to look for assets. Now before I do something else, I need to clear this filter. Otherwise, everything will be filtered by this still. So I can also sort on, or filter on old owner. All these people's names are in here of people who are owners. And if I pick somebody, it'll filter it down to just hers. So now these are all Mary Dobish's. So that's a quick look at how that works, but do remember that these all impact each other. And so if you have a filter on the navigation hierarchy and you also apply a key filter, both of them will impact the view, and in addition, whatever criteria the view is pulling up will also be there. So if I were to just pull up this view that's supposed to show only audio, here's the audio, and now if I type in an MBA for a key filter, I wouldn't expect to get anything, right? Because it's going to search within this view and there's nothing there. So just something to keep in mind. All right, so I'm going to clear the key filter, and then one thing that I want to recommend to you is if you find yourself doing a certain thing quite often with these views, you can go ahead and create your own. So I just picked Create View there. And now I have all of these existing views that I can use as a starting point. So let's say I really like this one. I can create my own, or I'm going to start with this one called All Assets. And I click on it, and I'm going to say Kathy's View. I'm not going to use an apostrophe because we don't like those in names. And then I'm going to click here on Create a Personal View. What this will do is it will show it to me only, and so when other people come in, it won't clutter up their view of it. It'll just be just the standard views, all nice and tidy. And I can go in here, I can remove fields, I can reorder fields simply by changing the number here, and they'll reorder themselves. There's sorting and filtering. We won't go into those. There's a whole SharePoint class on that. And then I press OK. So then you have all this set of views available, and you can. So I would suggest don't change the existing views. Let's leave those views as they are, so they're predictable when you come in. You always know what view does what. But go ahead, add a private view. Make it exactly as you want it to be. Okay, so the last thing we're going to look at is we're going to go back to the home page, and we're going to go to this advanced search. The top here, as we talked about, searches document content. So it searches the words that are in a Word document or an Excel document. The bottom part searches those metadata fields. You know, it searches through the keyword field, the old group field, the old owner field, the author field, the name field. So let's try one of these. The one I want to point out to you particular is this one that's called Asset Info Fields. This searches pretty much all of the fields all together. So you can type something in here. So let's say we type in MBA because we used that before. Now we're going to see, this is going to be pages, multiple pages of data that return the word MBA in the title or in a keyword or somewhere else in it. You see here it's not in the title, so it must be somewhere in one of the other metadata. So let's look at it and see. We can open it up here, and we see here it's in the keyword Student MBA Classroom. So there you have a nice quick overview of the SharePoint Asset Repository. If you want further information, there's a help page, and this is a very extensive user overview document, and we'll probably be updating and changing this as we find important things to put in here for your information. Also, take the SharePoint class. It'll tell you more about lists and views and customizing your things. Thanks.